Welcome back, everybody. We're back with episode 7 of the Putback. Got just us two here again, me, myself, and we got Dovensky.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we back. So last week we did the top 5 players at each position of all time, and this week we're going to go back to the current NBA and do our top 5 at each position there. Before we get into anything, make sure you guys follow Stadium Rant on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. There's a lot of shows going on just like this one. Many articles coming out. Me and Dovensky and myself dropping a lot of NBA content, NFL, hockey, soccer. It's all going down at Stadium Rant. So make sure you guys check it out. And before we get into our lists, Steph Curry just signed an extension for I think 63
the 1 year deal.
63 million, I think it was.
That's crazy.
So because of his age, he could only sign the 1 year extension.
What is he, like 30? He's 35, 36?
I think he's going to be 38 by that year, I think it was.
No way.
He's got 3 years on his deal now. He's getting old, man. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So yeah, Steph's locked in for one more extra season. So he's got 3 seasons left. And then Woj just tweeted about 10 minutes ago that Zubac has signed a 3-year extension with the Clippers for about 63 million. So it'd be about 21 million a year. I think that's a pretty fair deal for his production.
It's the fact that they don't have a center, so
yeah,
it's a good thing that they locked him in.
Definitely, because I mean, Isaiah Hartenstein just got paid like 30+ million a year, so I think Zubac for 20 million a year is pretty solid.
I wish Miami got him.
Hey, I need another center, man. I mean, yeah, you got.
That's a different discussion for another day.
Yeah. But let's get into it, because apart from that, I think Gigi Jackson, he just like broke a metacarpal in his finger or something, so he's going to be out for a while. He's having surgery. So that's a pretty big blow for the Grizzlies. About a month out from training camp. So we'll see if he gets back in time for the start of the regular season. But like that's one of their main wings. So it's going to be tough for them, because I like Gigi Jackson. He's a real good player, especially on that Grizzlies team. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into it. We'll start with point guards again.
Yep.
I don't know if you've got honorable mentions again, but if you want to kick it.
I got honorable mentions.
Let me hear it.
All right, so for my honorable mentions, it's going to be controversial, but for my honorable mentions, I have Ja in my honorable mentions. LaMelo, Tyrese Maxey, Lillard, and De'Aaron Fox.
All right. Okay. There's one name, dude. I don't know, maybe he just wasn't on your honorable mentions, but if he's on your list, that's interesting. Yeah, my honorable mentions, I had Trey on there. De'Aaron hurt my heart. But Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton, Dame, and Drew Holiday I put on there too.
Forgot about Halliburton.
Okay.
He was originally going to be on my list.
Oh yeah, sure.
I literally just forgot to add him, but yeah, I will put him in honorable mentions as well. He'd probably be number 6.
Yes, yeah, around
6 or 7. If we were doing the top 10, he'd be like 6 or 7 behind.
I felt bad. I felt bad putting Dame not on the top 5, just based on last season though.
I'm looking at what we did last season. I'm not looking at seasons before.
Yeah. So basing off like what their production is going to be, what it was last year,
I'm looking at last season, regular season, and playoffs.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm gonna give you number 5.
For my number 5, I have Trae Young at my number 5.
I love the Trae respect. I wrote an article about how he's the most disrespected player in the NBA. Yeah, I don't even put him on 5.
He was honestly going to be my honorable mentions. If Ja didn't have those off the court issues, Ja definitely would have been on my top 5. Yeah. But those off the court issues really took him up my top 5.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, I love the Trae respect.
Yeah,
he averaged like I don't know what it was last year.
I think he averaged 26-10, I believe. It was 26-10.
And he's been doing that for the last like 3-4 years.
Yeah, and
The
he's only
big
been a
knock on
Husker
him
2 years.
is yeah, yeah, and he's only a 3-time All-Star, and he's been doing like those type of numbers. He averaged 27 and 12 in like the 22 season, I think, and wasn't an All-Star.
Yeah, he's easily the second best player in his draft class.
Yeah, definitely second best. He didn't make my list. I had Jai at number 5. Obviously, he does have his off the court issues, but when he's on the court, when he's healthy, he is easily a top 5 point guard in the league.
For sure.
Like the athleticism's off the chart. He's so electric when he plays, and his shooting is actually slowly.
It's getting there.
He's getting his on the court shooting. That is. So I have Ja Morant at number 5.
All right, so for my number 4, I have Steph Curry at my number 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't talk about it.
All right, because my top three, they just had great regular seasons, and then also the playoffs too. Because I'm also looking at the playoffs.
Fair enough.
And it may not be fair because a lot of players on the list may not have made the playoffs, but I do look at the playoffs as well because, you could have a great regular season and you could be like James Harden, great regular season, but piss poor performance in the playoffs.
Right. Damn. I mean, Javin's gonna mess with your list for sure. If you got JV above Steph. I had Jalen Brunson at number 4.
Oh wow.
I'm not gonna put him above Steph Curry yet.
Nah, but
last season
3 actually.
You got him higher than 3?
Yeah, no, I have him at 3.
Oh yeah. Amazing season last year, obviously amazing playoff run. But I just don't have him above Steph yet because that was not his first All-Star quality season, but that was his, breaking into superstardom sort of season. Yeah. Steph's been doing this, and he was still excellent last year. Obviously on a struggling team, but he was doing his part for sure. But Jalen Brunson,
that's valid. But I think like he started becoming a superstar in last year's playoffs.
Yeah,
and then it transitioned to this season, and in this season's playoffs, he just went completely off. That's why it was mainly because of what he did in the playoffs. That's why I have him at number 3 because he was just going insane. Yeah. And the Knicks really might make it out of the Eastern Conference this season.
That's a debate for another show, but they'll be up there for sure. They'll be up there. Okay, so you have Jalen Brunson at 3.
Yeah.
And I have Steph at 3. Okay. We've already gone over him.
This was tough because honestly, this is more like 1A, 1B. But for my number 2, I put Shea at number 2.
Yeah.
Incredible regular season. What he averaged 36 and 5, I believe, or 35 and 6, somewhere right there.
Yeah.
Second in MVP voting. He led the league in steals. Incredible season, incredible playoffs. Led the Thunder to the number 1 seed, youngest number 1 seed. And just because they got booted out in the second round, people are out here talking about, fake number 1. No, they weren't a fake number 1 seed. I think their average age is like 23 or 24.
Yeah. So I think they're the youngest 1 seed ever.
Yeah, they're the youngest 1 seed ever, and they won how many games? They won like 60 games or nearly 60 games.
Yeah,
I believe.
58 games.
I think they were like 58 because I think it was a 3-way tie for the first seed. So they almost got to 60 wins, and they're that young of a team. So they have a bright future, and Shea has just been going crazy ever since he got to OKC. So definitely, I got him at number 2, but I have to put Luka at number 1 because we know what Luka is capable of. Even though Luka, he's not a good defender, his offense just makes up for his bad defense. And even though watching these finals, watching Luka just not playing defense, it infuriated me.
Yeah.
I did not want Boston to win. But
Shit.
But I could tell Luka was gassed, but like just his offense, just his passing ability, his scoring ability, just what he can do on the offensive floor. I have to put him over Shea, just mainly because of that.
I had the same order. Shea at 2, Luka at 1. Shea, yeah, like once they got the 1 seed last season before the playoffs started, it was fake 1 seed, worst 1 seed ever. They're going to lose in the first rounds. Like a lot of people had the Pelicans beating the Thunder in their
That
first round
isn't
series,
because I had the Thunder sweeping them.
and they did. Swift there. And again, Shea was the forefront of that. 30 points per game.
Yeah,
And an excellent defender is that at that as well.
he's really
So
good.
yeah, tied for most steals in the league with the Aaron Fox. Um, yeah, he's improved as a playmaker. And now Josh Giddey's off the team. I should say he's going to have more shooters around him. Alex Caruso is going to be knocking down those corner threes. The assist number's probably going to go up again. And of course, he's going to have the ball in his hands all the time. So they'll be getting his. And like you said, that team is so well built for the future. So they're only going to get better and better. And Shea's just going to get more and more recognition as that happens. And then Luka goes at 1. Obviously, his defense does leave a lot to be desired. We saw it magnified in the finals. And like if you're that good of a player, which he is, he's a top 3 player in the league in my eyes. Like you don't have to be a great defender, but you have to hustle. You have to
Yeah,
try. I don't care if you're tired. It's the NBA finals. There's nothing after that. Like you gotta be able to just push through it,
yeah.
and show some effort. He fouled out of game
I think it was
3.
game 3, and it was a close game too. I think he fouled out like 4 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes left in the game, and he fouled out. And they
Yeah,
were probably I think they were down by like 4 or 5 points.
something like that. And it was so clearly a blocking foul. And he just got up
It's
and
game.
argued. Yeah, and it was
Yeah,
just like it was just lazy. Um, but pushing all that aside, he is maybe the best offensive player in the league right now. Him and Jokic are right up there.
Jokic to me.
Um,
I
yes,
might edge to Jokic because Jokic is a bit more efficient.
yeah. I mean, you definitely could lean either way, but yeah, I love Luca's game offensively. He's a great playmaker. He's a great scorer, obviously from all 3 areas. He can get in the
Yeah.
paint. He's a big body at 6'7". Obviously, his 3-point shot, his step back 3 in particular, is deadly. Um, and for a not super athletic guy, he's got a nice handle. So
Exactly.
what was that?
I said exactly. He's
Yeah,
people.
he's
People.
not a
People said because honestly, I compare him and Jokic to Larry Bird. Just like how they play, not athletic, not fast,
white.
slow, but yet they can still dominate you, and there's literally nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
Now
they're
they have
getting.
trash talking like Larry Bird. Oh,
Hey, Luka did be trash talking, bro. You get out.
oh
You
yeah,
get
yeah,
talking in
yeah. But I want to
Slovenian.
see. I want to see Luca calling out a play in front of his defender and still hitting the shot. That's what I
I
want to
can see
see.
it. I want to see him do that to Devin Booker for sure.
All right,
But
let's get to shooting guards.
it's
What
still
are, what are your mentions for shooting guards?
honorable mentions for shooting guards. Shooting guards was like a tough list as far as are they a shooting guard or are they a small forward or are they a point guard?
Yeah, that was the problem that I was having.
Um, so I kind of just based it on my other lists, like guys like Jalen Brown was like I'm not sure if he's going to make the small forward list, so I'll put him in the
I,
shooting guard list.
I put him on the small forward list.
Yeah, that makes sense. But honorable mentions anyway. Shooting guard, I got Desmond Bain, Derek White, and Dejounte Murray as like the
Mm,
main 3 guys.
wow.
But quite honestly, they were not close to the top 5.
Honestly, like the thing is, in my opinion, right now, currently, I think the shooting guard is probably the weakest position in the league.
It's definitely the least depth.
It's probably the weakest position and probably the position that's gonna die down because like we're in positionless basketball, and now if you're a point guard, you have to play shooting guard. If you're a shooting guard, you have to know how to play make, or if you're a bigger body and you're playing shooting guard, you have to play the small forward. So honestly, like I don't think anybody is really like a pure shooting guard. Maybe like Devin Booker, but his playmaking is getting up there. Bradley Beal, who I actually had in my honorable mentions, Bradley Beal, probably one of the last pure shooting guards in the league. But my honorable mentions, I put Harden, Beal, and Jalen Green in there.
Okay, interesting.
And Jalen
Yeah,
Green,
I'm definitely gonna
he's
have
there.
people. Jalen Green had like 2 insanely good months last season, so I'm so hoping he can back that up because like the Rockets could be such a good team if Jalen Green and Sengun can work in tandem and Jalen Green can shoot efficiently.
Yeah.
Because like ideally he'd just run point guard, and let Sengun do a lot of the playmaking.
I think, wait, what's Thompson Brothers in Houston? I think it's Amir Thompson that's in Houston.
I'm in.
I meant, yeah.
Yeah,
Assur is in Detroit.
that's ours in Detroit. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
One of the
Thompson.
Houston. So I think,
Yeah,
yeah, Houston could make some noise in the future.
I
But
love Amin Thompson. Yeah,
Jalen Green needs to elevate his game for sure. Because honestly, like his problem is he's really like just a shot chucker.
yeah, yeah,
That's his issue.
definitely. Yeah, his playmaking's coming around though. It will like at the end of last season. So like if that's what I mean, like if Sengun and Jalen Green can work like a Murray and Jokic sort of
Yeah,
pairing, that would be ideal. And then
it
you
could
just need
happen.
to get shooters.
It could happen.
Definitely.
I
Um,
at number five, I put DeJounte Murray in my number five,
mm,
and he was actually really good. He was really good this season with the Hawks. It's just that the Hawks are a bad team. That's the thing. I wish he came to Miami though. Like he would fit perfectly. Great defender. He could shoot the ball. He can give you 25 points.
mm,
If he's hot, he can even give you 30.
yeah,
He's not a bad playmaker, but I think him and Trey are just don't. They're not a good mix. But for sure,
yeah,
I think Dejounte Murray. He had an argument to be an All Star this season. He
sure.
had he had an argument because he was playing pretty good this season.
He was, and I think he's going to fit really well on the Pelicans. Just like that added playmaking, because yeah, before he moved to Atlanta and San Antonio, he was averaging like 10 assists in his All Star season with San Antonio.
Yeah,
So he is another one of those point guard shooting guard hybrid players, and he can do that with CJ in New Orleans. I really hope they bring CJ off the bench as a six man and let Herb Jones start. Just defensively, that backcourt would be tough
yeah.
of the
Alvarado,
Johnson.
Dejounte Murray. That's a deadly backcourt right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, so DeJounte Murray did not make my list. He was in the honorable mentions. Jalen Brown was my number 5 because again, obviously, you have him in small forward. I just put him in
Yeah,
shooting guard because there's too many good small forwards. And it
that's true.
feels kind of disrespectful to put Jalen Brown in number 5. He just won Finals MVP.
That's still
Um,
yeah, but
but like, there's just so much talent. Like,
exactly.
yeah. So to get on this list, is quite the achievement. Obviously, he's one of the better two-way wings in the league. His defense is sensational. His offense has just got better and better every season. The three-point shot's there properly now. He can drive. He's athletic as anyone in the league. Um, and he got paid $300 million for it.
Oh man, that contract. Oh, I still don't think he's
Hey,
worth that much. Yeah, he got
so
Finals MVP, but I still don't. I still think that's overpay, in my
that is
opinion,
overpay for anyone ever
for a
existed.
second option. Yeah, he could be a first option, but in reality, Jalen Brown, he's a second option.
I'd love to see Jalen Brown on his own team, see what happens. But like the Celtics, like giving him that contract, I mean, at the end of the day, it is worth it if you're winning a championship.
Yeah.
and they've still got that core together. They could go another 2-3 in a row if they all stay together.
I hope not. I hope not.
Oh God, I hope to God that doesn't happen.
Miami comes back and whoop them in the playoffs, and which we will do. But
I
has that mindset.
yeah.
Butler's coming for them.
My number 4.
My number 4. I have Devin Booker at my number 4.
Damn.
Yep.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, he's my number 4 because at first I was like, he played point guard this season, so it was just like, I put him in point guards, but there's just so many good point guards. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put him as shooting guards. But there's just, I'm not gonna lie, there's just 3 guys that I would have over him.
Well, I'm glad I listed it from at least. I have Kyrie at number 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Another guy that's played point guard for a lot of his career. Is now a 2 in Dallas. It was the order for the top 4. Honestly, I could have flipped a lot of it. I've put Kyrie at 4 because he doesn't carry as much on his shoulders as the other 3 guys on his team, in my eyes at least. I mean, you could argue that Booker doesn't, but I still see him as like the focal point of that offense, to be honest, even with KD on the team, because he's a playmaker as well. He's really evolved into a playmaker. But Kyrie, one of the best spot-up shooters, obviously the best handle in the league. Clutch gene has always been to hit that nasty one-hand, left-hand flip shot over Jokic. That was like the best buzzer beater of last season. That was like one of the best game winners I've ever seen. That was disgusting. But I put him at number 4, which might be low, but the other 3 guys, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, my number 3, I got Donovan Mitchell at my number 3. That man dropped 50. He dropped 50 on Orlando. I think they lost that game too. That was game 6. I think it was game 6. It was game 6. He dropped 50 and then they lost by like a couple
that boy was on his own on offense that series.
Yeah. Mitchell has it. Mitchell is that guy in the playoffs.
He's another one of those guys. That's like a pure shooting guy.
Series that really had like a bad series was his first series against like the Rockets. I think that was like his very first playoff series. But after that, like he's that guy in the playoffs.
I think
that's why I have him so high, because just like when he gets in the playoffs, he just elevates his game so much.
He really does. He just like turns into a one-man army. I think it was his first ever playoff series in 2018. They were the 6th seed. Oh no, they had a 3 seed? I don't know. They were even 3 or 6 seed. They were playing the Thunder when it was Russ, Paul George, and Melo. Yeah. And he beat them in 6. He was averaging like 28 points per game as a rookie. And then he's continued
to that, Russ, Paul George, and Melo as a rookie.
And I really wanted that team to win a chip that year. So that was like,
man, trust me, when I saw that team get assembled, I legit thought they were gonna win.
That would have been made me so happy as a Russ fan. But obviously they didn't. Donovan Mitchell cooked them, and he's got better as he's gotten older. I think he's 25 maybe right now.
I believe so. And unfortunately, so he couldn't really play the Boston series like that.
Yeah.
And if he was playing that Boston series, they could have went to 6 games.
I don't know about that. But what did they go to, 5?
Yeah, I think they lost in 5. I think they took 1 game.
They could have got 1 more then. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm hoping someone we didn't mention in the point guards. Hoping that Darius Garland comes back a lot better this year.
Probably.
He was a top 10 point guard a couple seasons ago, easily. He's kind of fallen off that radar last year he was playing with I forget what injury it was, but in the second half of the season he had like a long term sustained injury. They was playing with the numbers. So like before the injury, he was averaging like 21 and 10, and then it dropped down to like 16 and 10 or something. But his efficiency wasn't there last season either. Because I was excited for that Cavs team, but they fell short. Obviously, injuries didn't help with Evan Mobley having an injury. I think Jared Allen got injured too.
Yeah.
But on to my number 3. I have Anthony Edwards at number 3.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody is on the Anthony Edwards hype train. I love Anthony Edwards too. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, we've already talked about Donovan Mitchell. I have Donovan Mitchell at 2, and I have Anthony Edwards at 3. Anthony Edwards is a superstar, yes, because he plays great, but he's got the personality. He's athletic. He makes the highlight plays. So he has just in everyone's minds become, a superstar in one season. I'm not really ready to put him at that level just yet.
That's understandable.
Obviously, he's an excellent scorer. I think what we saw in the playoffs is he needs to improve his playmaking and like his what do you call it? Like shot selection.
Shot IQ, basically.
Yeah. Because
he was forcing a lot of shots for sure.
He was
and shots. He needs to pass the ball a little better.
Yeah.
But he needs to keep his mouth closed because he was talking a lot of smack to Kyrie, and
hey, I mean, I'm all for that personally. I like.
Yeah, I love it. But you trash talk Kyrie. Well,
it's gonna come back to bite you. So yeah, I'm assuming you have Anthony Edwards at 1.
Yeah, and
I'm sure a lot of people do. But yeah, I put him at 3, and Donovan Mitchell at 2.
Kyrie's my number 2.
I like the respect.
Just his skill, what he's capable of. Because he is a second option, but you give him the ball when he's hot, he's gonna drop 40. Easily, he can drop 40. And even though he wasn't that good against Boston, especially when he played in Boston, and he wasn't that good in the first half for like most of the other series. When he came in the second half, that second half, he was just torching teams. He was just torching them. Except Boston. I don't know what he needs to do to Boston. I don't know if he needs to go and apologize, but he needs to do something. Because ever since he stepped on that leprechaun, he comes back to Boston, he does not play good.
Yeah, I mean, even like a guy of Kyrie's mental game, his mentality, like that. Even if you're you don't care about the crowd, like that crowd was hating on Kyrie Irving, like to a point that I felt so bad for him, honestly. But again, he's a professional athlete. I'm sure it doesn't affect him too much, but like you notice that. And in Game 4 in Dallas, he was incredible, and then Game 5 went back to Boston and was not incredible.
Yeah, talk about that series.
Yeah, no one does. No one likes the Celtics. So we can move on then. You've got Anthony Edwards at number 1.
Yeah, I had Edwards at number 1.
And I've got Devin Booker at number 1.
Wow.
Devin Booker had I was going to say the best Olympics out of it. He didn't. He had an amazing Olympics, and it was because he only averaged about 11 points per game, but he fit that role of just, playing his role so well. He shot like 55% from free. He was guarding the other team's best guards. He was playing great defense on them. And again, in the NBA, his playmaking improved a lot last season. He's really running that point guard role now, but I put him in the 2. And it's so good to see that evolution of his game. Obviously, one of the best long range shooters in the league still, and his mid range game is tough too.
So,
What was that?
one of the best scorers in the league as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, I'm hoping that the Olympic defense we saw can transition somewhat into the NBA. If he can become like an elite level defender, like that just backs up my list even more. Like I definitely have him at number one. It was a toss up with again those top four guys, even Jalen Brown too, because he's really nice defensively. But I put Book at one. I think he's the most efficient pure scorer on this list, and probably the best playmaker too right now. Out of him and Kyrie.
Maybe.
So yeah, it's out next too.
All right. Small forwards. So for my honorable mentions in small forwards, I have Brandon Ingram. This one is gonna be crazy, but I got Scotty Barnes. But the
No,
crazy
no,
thing is, Scotty Barnes played shooting guard in the season.
really.
I was shocked. I was like, wait. His rookie season, he played power forward. Last season, he played the season his second season he played small forward. Then this season he was playing shooting guard. I was like,
That's so
what? No,
weird.
I thought he was a small forward, so I put him in the small forward position. And then at first, it was a toss up between DeRozan and Paul George, but I put DeRozan in the honorable mentions, and Paul George is my number 5.
I have DeRozan in the honorable mentions too. Now, you're not gonna like my list because I have two guys that you have in power forwards and small forwards, so I knocked some guys out.
Oh boy.
Um, and I think you know who I'm hinting at.
Mm,
Uh, Jimmy Butler is not in my top five.
that is insane.
Yeah. Like, number six is Jimmy Butler. I have Ingram and DeRozan as well in the honorable mentions, and my number five was Paul George as well.
That's fair. I mean, Paul George, he had to carry, he had to carry the Clippers because Kawhi is just not there. Even though Kawhi's on my list when healthy, he is
Yeah.
definitely a top 3 small forward in the league. But Kawhi is just never there. So
He
Paul
actually
George,
played like 64 games last season,
yeah,
which is pretty
and
good
I
for
think
him.
that's like the most games he played since 2019 or
Like
something
since he's
like.
been a Clipper. Yeah.
Yeah. And Paul George has been carrying the Clippers, even though it hasn't translated that much. It did give them a conference finals appearance, their first ever and only conference finals appearance.
Hmm.
But he wasn't really healthy in the ending of the season. But like earlier in the season, he was hooping. He
Yeah.
really was hooping. But then he got injured. Kawhi was hooping. Then Kawhi gets injured. Paul George is back, and then Paul George gets injured again. And like it's just like bad between them because they're just always injured. And Paul George, he's getting older, so he's not that explosive anymore. He's not. Sometimes he's efficient. Others like he's like sometimes he's just inconsistent.
Yeah.
So that's why I have him at number 5. I think he has the possibility of being like an all-star level player, but I don't see him making any more all-star teams.
Mm.
So honestly, he's more of a borderline all-star in this stage of his career. So like I think in Philly he can definitely fit in that third option role much better because like he's honestly a second option, but just been playing first option for so long with the Clippers and with OKC. But I think he fits better with the second option role, and I think he's gonna fit even better with that third option role and in Philly. So we just have to see. But yeah, Paul George is definitely my number 5.
Yeah, me too. Same thing. I think yeah, as far as All Stars go, he's in the East now, so maybe he does. If he plays well this year, he still sneaks in.
Yeah.
Because the West is considerably more deep than the East talent wise, especially at the wing spot. So, but yeah, I put him number five. again one of the better shooters in the league, one of the better defenders on the wing. Really,
Yep.
really like another top five. He's up there with Jaylen Brown as far as 3-and-D talent goes. And again, it's unfortunate for the Clippers. Like when that team was first constructed, Kawhi and Paul George both signed. Lou Will was on the team. Montrezl Harrell and Lou Will were in their primes. That team was like a guaranteed lock for a finals appearance. But they were never healthy for a full season. There was always one of them, mainly Kawhi, that was injured, which was really unfortunate. They got James Harden. It's like, oh, they're going to the finals this year. Oh, they got Russell Westbrook. They're going to the finals this year. Which obviously didn't happen. I mean, the most consistent player on that team's been Zubac.
Yeah.
Who just got his extension. I'm really interested in what the Clippers are going to do this year. But we're not talking about
bad because if they play bad, those first round picks are going to OKC.
Yeah, they are. That's tough.
They're in some hot water right now.
Yeah, but poor George. I think like you said, he's going to fit really well in their third option role on Philly. Be like kind of second option, but him and Tyrese Maxey will be probably taking about the same amount of shots. But yeah, I love that wing defense and offense. That's what Philly's been missing. It's what Tobias Harris was trying to be, which he's just not.
$180 million for like 5 years.
Yeah, and now he's been banished to Detroit, which is
once again
unfortunate for Detroit fans. So yeah, Paul George at number 5, number 4.
Yeah. My number 4. I got Jaylen Brown on my number 4.
I like it.
Yeah, I got Jaylen Brown on my number 4. I mean, you already talked about Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP. He played great in the playoffs, definitely for sure. I might even put him at number 3. If like later on I might think about it more. I might slide him at number 3. Honestly, my number 3 is Jimmy Butler. Bit of a biased Heat fan, but when Jimmy's healthy, you know what he's capable of. When he's healthy in the playoffs, he goes crazy. And it was so unfortunate to see him go down against Philly, because if it wasn't for that, we would have gone the second seed. We would have faced New York. And I think we would have had a better chance at beating New York than beating the Celtics. But Jimmy just his knee gave out. And you can see, and the thing is, you can see, even though he's a troll, you can see that like he was fighting to get back. And I think it was game 3 when they were back in Miami. They were the sideline interviews during the game. I think Jimmy was talking about like he's fighting to get back into the game. He's fighting to like get back on the court, and like he does have that competitiveness in him. Like even if he's injured, he's gonna try and get back on the court. But now he's on the last year of his deal. Miami didn't offer him that extension, and it's been reported that like he's coming into this season with a chip on his shoulder. Like this is the season that he's proving that like he's worth the money. So I think Jimmy's going to be dangerous this season.
Well, that'd be something we haven't seen from him in a while. Just be really aggressive during the regular season. Obviously, he's one of those guys. He's just.
I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of this. Miami's the underdog. I'm tired of it. Like, it was nice for 2023, but now it's just like just play hard in the regular season. I'm not saying Butler has to average 30. But if he can average like a good 24 points, 7 rebounds, and like, I don't know, 5 assists per game, and then like it gets Miami to like a 4th seed or something like that, then I'll be satisfied, because then, if you're the 4th seed, you have a good chance that you're going to play the 5th seed. So depending on who it is, that could possibly be a sweep, or it could be a 5-game series.
Yeah. The Heat have like all the capability to make a playoff run. We've seen it.
Yeah.
But when you start as the 8th seed, it's tough because you never have home advantage. So that's why Jimmy Butler didn't make my list. It's like very stacked. But your 4 was Jaylen Brown, right?
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown. There you go. what?
Yeah, I might put him at number 3.
Fair enough. I had Kawhi at number 4 because my small forward list is stacked.
Yeah, it is stacked. It's a really stacked position.
Yeah. Kawhi was pretty good last year when he was healthy. He again played 64 games. I think that's the most he's played since he's been a Clipper.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good. It's like he's just lost a lot of that I don't know, athleticism. Just he's really turned into a mid-range assassin, and he's always been good at that, but he doesn't drive as much anymore.
Yeah.
But that being said, he's still a really good quality defender, and a great scorer, obviously. So I think 4's fair with who I have on the rest of my list. As he gets older, we'll see. Obviously, all these injuries have kind of taken a toll on him. So it'll be interesting. If the Clippers are bad this year, I can expect them to sit out a lot more games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 4.
Yeah, Kawhi is my number 2, actually.
All right.
Yeah. And you already know who my number 1 is. I don't even have to explain.
So who was your number?
Who was your number 3? My number 3 was Butler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, number 1 is Goat James. I don't even have to explain it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
40 years old, coming off of another 25 point per game season at 39. Man, people saying LeBron's not the GOAT, bro.
GOAT status. That's good shit right there. So yeah, again, I have Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant on my list for small forwards.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different. I have KD at number 3.
Forward list.
Hey.
Yeah, I put them on my power forward list.
Yeah. That's fair enough. But yeah, KD at number 3. Obviously his teams have been disappointing in recent years, but he's still been one of the best scorers in the league. And his defense is still pretty good at age 36 or something. These players are getting old, man. This is sad.
It's crazy.
I have LeBron James at number 2. Which pained me to do, but I can't be biased. Jason Tatum I put at number 1. It hurt my soul. It really did.
Efficient in the damn playoffs. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, he led the playoffs in points, whatever. He wasn't efficient. Because if any other player does that, they're gonna call him a shot chucker. So-called Tatum a shot chucker. Jesus Christ.
To be fair, I think Jason Tatum's got his fair share of criticism this whole season. He won a championship and got hated on more. This is
that's true.
Crazy. That's crazy.
It was an easy championship.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's kind of sad. You win the championship and you get benched in the Olympics.
As soon as he didn't win Finals MVP, I just know he was like, I'm about to get clowned for this for all summer.
Yeah.
But I still put him at number 1. He is a top 5 scorer. He is a top 5 wing defender in the NBA. His defense is so underrated as a help defender, as a pick and roll defender, even as a POA defender. He's being guard bigs because he's 6'10" or something like that. He can guard wings. He's not bad on the guards either. So his versatility all around is what gave him number 1. Because there's nothing really on the basketball court that he can't do.
That's true.
Obviously, that's the same for LeBron. But Tatum he's just a bit more dynamic at this age. His defense is a bit better, and his shooting's a bit better. So it did hurt me to put him above LeBron, but just being right now, unbiased, Jason Tatum, and then again he's a power forward, probably for most people, but I put him on small forward. I put him number 1.
So what are your honorable mentions for power forwards?
Power forwards. This, because I had Tatum and Durant on small forward, this was kind of a weaker list too, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's not as many superstar names. So honorable mentions are Evan Mobley, Jaren Jackson Jr., Larry Markkinen, and Karl Anthony Towns.
I actually put Cat at center.
Okay. I mean, I just did that because he's playing with Gobert.
Yeah, that's true. I put him at center because I'm not putting Gobert at center.
You're just not putting him anywhere?
Nope, he's not close to
that. You don't get a position? That's crazy.
All right, my honorable mentions are Evan Mobley. I put Chet at power forward, Julius Randle, Larry Markkinen, and this one is going to be controversial, but I put Zion in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I put Julius Randle. Yeah,
Bro, you just said shit, and I realized I forgot about shit, but I forgot about Wimby, bro.
Damn.
I just didn't think about him. Okay, I'm gonna have to redo my center list.
Number 5.
But, yeah.
I put Sabonis at my number 5, but I think he did play center.
I haven't seen.
I think he played center, but I put him at power forward.
All right. He did play power forward in Indiana, so
yeah, I think he either led the league in rebounds or he was second in rebounds this season.
He led the league in rebounds, yeah. Led the league in rebounds. I think it was second in triple doubles.
I think he almost had a triple double. He almost averaged a triple double this season.
It was like 8 assists. So
yeah, he was really hooping. He's another underrated player too. Nobody really talks about Sabonis.
It's true. He's like the most underrated and overrated at the same time. It's so weird. Like the mixed reviews on Sabonis is crazy. So it's one of those hard to rate.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody like overrate him. I rarely hear anybody ever talk about him.
It's true. Like the only time I hear some Sabonis' name brought up is like he's trash. Which is so I guess he is underrated, but like there's a lot of people that say he's overrated, which kind of makes him underrated. I guess I don't know. But he's on my center list. But he's your number 5.
Yeah. So who's your number 5?
My number 5 is Julius Randle. Julius Randle has become very underrated. Obviously, he was injured for the end of the next season and the playoffs. So, he's kind of been forgot about in that core. But Julius Randle is a all-star player when he's healthy. He averages 25 points at 10 rebounds. He can make pretty well. His outside shots got pretty good. His evolution as a player has been very underrated. And I want to show him some love. So I put him at number 5.
Yeah, but earlier oh no, you can keep going.
I was just gonna say, like, it's gonna be interesting to see how he fits into the core of the Knicks now that they've got Mikal Bridges and OG.
I don't know how he's gonna fit. I feel like he's gonna slow them down.
He might get traded. I'll be honest.
I honestly say trade him. I've said that like ever since they got Mikal. I said you might as well just get rid of Randle because I feel like he's gonna slow the team down because he's gonna need the ball. And man, oh my God! Earlier in the season, he was so bad. I remember. No, I think he shot like. I think he was shooting like under 30% from 3, and he was shooting like 30% from the field earlier in the season. He was horrible.
Yeah, like a 25-game stretch.
He flipped the switch, but like when the season first started, he was. I don't even know. Like I was going after him so much. There was like the only other player that I could think that was playing worse than him was like Jordan Poole. But besides that, I couldn't think of anybody else that was playing like worse than Julius Randle in the beginning of the season.
He was in a lot of trade talks early in the season because he was just awful.
That was crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, he kind of stopped that skid against Miami when he fumbled the ball and just chucked it up, hit a bank game winner. Was that this season? I'm pretty sure that's when that happens. So yeah, I know you was mad when that happened. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with him this season. I don't really know what team he'd fit on at all, to be honest.
I don't know.
Yeah.
because he's mainly a post player. Although he can't stretch the floor, but he's mainly in the post.
It's just
So
like the Knicks have Jalen Brunson as their main ball handler and playmaker, so
yeah,
it kind of negates Julius Randle's talent.
exactly. And he's not really that good off the ball. You see DiVincenzo, he's great off the ball.
Yeah.
Josh Hart is great off the ball. I don't know how Mikal Bridges is going to be off the ball, but I think it's going to be better than Randall because Randall, I don't usually see him move like he sometimes he just stands in the corner.
Mikal
So
Bridges should be a
I don't know
perfect
what
lefty big player.
I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if the Knicks are going to keep him. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll trade him. I say trade him because I think he's on the last year of his deal, or he has like 2 more years. So I say get rid of him because you want to make sure that core is like at their peak.
Yeah.
So I say get rid of Julius Randle, but for sure he definitely is a great player though.
Yeah, and I don't know how much trade value he'll honestly have because like it's just he's a ball dominant player. He's like a number one option as far as his play style, but
That's
like
the
probably not. Like it's
no,
just like Jalen Brunson is just the better player. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Number five. What's your number four?
My number 4 is KD.
That
But right,
sounds low. That sounds low for sure.
yeah, it was really hard because my number three is Tatum.
Okay,
That's
okay.
why because KD because if he was on the small forward list, he would have most likely been my number 2. But
So you would
the
have.
forward list
Uh,
was just so stacked that I put him
yeah,
at power forward, and he also like for the past couple of seasons he has been playing a lot of power forward.
yeah.
So I decided to put him at power forward. And you already talked about KD, one of the best scorers in the league, one of the most efficient scorers in the league. And then Tatum, we already talked about Tatum, so I might as well. Well, you go to your number 3. Well, wait,
I mean,
you
I go to my number four.
wait. Who
My
who's,
number
who's your,
four. Huh?
wait? Did you say your number 4 already?
No, no. Randall is my number five.
Oh, okay.
Um, my number four is Zion.
Mm,
Zion, just talent wise, he has no limit, and if he can be healthy again this season, it was pretty good last year. We got to see quite a bit of him.
yeah, but
Um,
yeah,
I I really like the Pelicans core, and I can definitely see them being a top five seed pretty easily. So hopefully Zion makes that push into like almost superstardom that we've been waiting for since his rookie season.
yeah,
It's been like 5 seasons, 6 seasons now. So if he can, because he's been playing not point guard, but he's been ball handling a lot more in recent years, and that's like it's been actually pretty good. Like his playmaking is real solid. He's great. He's got great court vision, and obviously he's an excellent finisher down low. So yeah, he's my number four.
when he played against the Lakers in the play-in tournament, he was going crazy. Then I think it was a quad injury. I think it was.
Yeah,
His leg just gave out. But
uh,
I think he had 40. I believe he had 40 or like 45.
yeah. I
And there
think I
was like a
remember.
small bit of me that was scared because I was like, oh God, the Lakers are about to lose. But then he got injured and I'm like, oh well, that's the game right there. But
I
honestly,
watched.
if he played that game, I still think the Lakers could have won the game. But if he played against OKC, that possibly could have been a much different series.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What was I gonna say? I watched the Pelicans beat the Kings 5 times this season, and then beat us in the playing tournament to go to the eight seed.
Wow.
So I don't like Zion for that. We just can't beat the Pelicans. Like we got blown out most of those games too. Um, but you got some respect for it. So yeah, number four. My number three is I don't know. Maybe I don't. I guess he's not on your list because you've already said KD. So I have Pascal at number three.
Wow.
Pascal Siakam.
That is wow.
Yeah,
That's that I wow. That is crazy. I didn't even think about Siakam. Dang.
I
Yeah.
I, I miss with Pascal Siakam, man. Now, obviously, he's not that superstar name, even like a
Yeah,
Zion, a KD, etc. But Pascal Siakam is one of the best mid-range and on-the-block scorers. You know, he can face up, he can shoot that mid-range, step back, and drive. He's a great finisher. His defense versatility-wise is pretty good. His pairing with Tyrese Halliburton we saw in Indiana was really good.
and I was
Obviously, they had a
preaching about
slow
the Pacers.
start.
I kept preaching about the Pacers too. I can't believe I forgot about Siakam and Halliburton. That is crazy.
You missed them both. You just hate Indiana.
Wow. I was preaching about him too all season.
And 3 does seem high, but again, it's because I don't have Tatum or KD in the power forward list. But
Yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
I'm down to give Pascal his respects. He was pretty good when Halliburton got injured in the playoffs. You know, that team somehow they got into the conference finals, and they lost in 4, but they were competitive games, and a lot of that was Pascal and Andrew Nembhard.
He should have put his hand up against Jaylen Brown in game 1.
Definitely should have done that. That
If he
was
contested that shot, Pacers would have won that game.
that could have easily been a 6-game series, and Tyrese was either injured or not playing for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. My number 2 is Anthony Davis.
Another guy I don't have on power forward list, but
I'm
yeah,
just saying that in my opinion, Anthony Davis. In my opinion, I feel like Anthony Davis should have won Defensive Player of the Year. He's
last year,
yeah. He had a good on. He was great on defense. I think it was second or third in rebounds per game. Like this season, Anthony Davis. This was the Anthony Davis that like everybody's been waiting for. Everybody's been hoping to see. Like he didn't play every game, obviously, but like just a really, really healthy Anthony Davis dominating both ends of the floor. That I've been waiting to see that for so long, but Anthony Davis is always injured, and it's always like Anthony Davis is a top 5 player when healthy. Anthony Davis is a top 2 big man when healthy, or like it's always when healthy with Anthony Davis. And now we see like when he's healthy, we see how great he is. He definitely is a top 2 power forward in the league. I want to say top 5 player, obviously, but for sure he's a top 10 player in the league because like, he is incredible. He can score anywhere. His 3-point shooting it needs work, but he can score from the 3. He can shoot the mid range. He can score in the paint. And then when he's playing defense, I don't remember. I think it was the Knicks game when the Lakers were playing the Knicks, and then Anthony Davis was everywhere on defense, and I was just seeing the Knicks just scared to shoot the ball
yeah,
because because Anthony Davis was everywhere. He was on the perimeter, and guys are passing up shots because just Anthony Davis's impact on defense is just that huge. Because if you see a guy just passing up a shot because somebody's just right there, that just means your defensive impact is just that. He wasn't even contesting them.
yeah,
Just standing there. He was ready to contest. So guys were just like it was like constant ball movement, trying to find an open shot. But Anthony Davis was just everywhere. He was in the paint. He was on the perimeter, and that's why I have him at number 2. Just his impact on the defensive end, his impact on the offense. But number 1, it's Giannis, most dominant player in the league. I mean, besides his shooting, what can you really say about Giannis?
no, yeah, completely agree. There's no debate. He's the
It's the
best
same
in the
thing with
league.
Anthony Davis, but just Giannis is just more dominant.
Yeah, he's just better. Um, so my number 2, you don't mention this guy. This is a bit of projecting, a bit on potential, but he was still excellent last season, and he was good in the playoffs too, even though it only lasted 1 series. I have Paolo Banchero at number
Mm,
2.
I forgot
Uh,
about him.
yeah, and again, obviously my power forward list is missing people, so it seems high to put him at 2 when you've just said Anthony Davis is 2, Kevin Durant is 4. But for my list, Paolo, I'm expecting him to take that superstar jump, similar to what Anthony Edwards has done next season, and push Orlando into a top four seed convincingly. They've added KCP to that team, another shooter. as Paolo's become that LeBron type of player, as he's just all round. He's point forward effective. So, and then Giannis, obviously number one MVP candidate for the last 7 years, it feels like. And his team disappointed last year. Obviously, he got injured for the first
Yeah,
round, which was gutting. I really want that team to win a chip too with Dame. So hopefully they can stay healthy this year and Dame doesn't fall off a cliff. But yeah, pretty clearly the best power forward in the league.
yeah, for sure.
All right, then centers.
What was your honorable mention for
Honorable
centers?
mention. I've got your favorite player in the league, Rudy Gobert. Yeah, Jared Allen. I put in the Sengun. Alfred Sengun was really close to making my list, but he's not. And then Porzingis is there as well. And obviously, I was saying I forgot about Victor Wembanyama. So I'm gonna put Sabonis in the honorable mentions too, and put Vic at number 5.
Wemby's actually my number 5.
Oh, yeah, good. So
Yeah,
who's your, yeah.
my honorable mentions was short. I put Carl Anthony Towns, and then Bam was my honorable mentions.
Wow, did not
Yeah,
expect that out of the Heat fan. Okay,
yeah. Bam is in my honorable mentions. Yeah,
I mean Sabonis is in mine, so I
center
guess that
position,
makes sense.
it's stacked. Centers are making a comeback.
I'm so
It's
scared I'm forgetting someone.
yeah, Wemby's my number 5. That rookie season was just so impressive, even though he started off a bit slow, but it was just incredible.
Yeah,
It was a Bucks game where I'm just watching him. He just blocks Giannis. Giannis is dunking the ball. It's like the final moments of the game, and he just blocks Giannis, and he's barely jumping in the air for it too. Wemby, for sure, I'm gonna say this. I think Wemby's gonna win Defensive Player of the Year next season, for
could
sure.
definitely see that.
Because Wemby, offensively, we know what he's capable of. He can dribble like a guard. He can shoot from anywhere, even though his shooting does need some work. The efficiency wasn't the best, but he was a rookie, so he gets some slack. But the defense is just his defense is just insane. And the fact that he almost put up 4 blocks a game as a rookie, and like it's just showing you what he's capable of when he reaches his prime. And I think he could get to 4 blocks a game in his prime.
I'd say so. Yeah,
I,
he's gonna be
I,
a 5 by 5 guy.
and he's 7'4", and he can consistently guard the perimeter. He
Mm.
he really can guard on the perimeter at 7 foot. I don't think there's ever really been, besides maybe Hakeem. Hakeem is probably like the only 7 footer that can really guard the perimeter. But besides that, I don't think there's any 7 footer that can really guard the perimeter on a consistent basis like Wemby.
Definitely agree. Yeah, he's at number 5 too. Sabonis is unlucky to miss out on my list, but Wemby's just better. Uh, Again, it hurts to say, but he's gonna be. I think Wemby is gonna be the best player in the league eventually.
Eventually,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, he's a guy that's gonna. I think he's gonna have the most 5 by 5 stat lines in NBA history when he retires. This is all assuming he doesn't get injured. But you know, he's a freak. He's 7 for 4, and he's one of the best shooting big men in the league. He's obviously a top defender in the league already, and he's literally 20 years old. So this is yeah, I'm very excited to see him play with Chris Paul.
Oh, that's gonna be a nice,
Yeah,
nice pick and roll right there.
if it was prime Chris Paul,
Oh
just
man,
DeAndre Jordan on drugs. Yeah, once
imagine
it's
DeAndre Jordan with a jump shot.
and handles. He doesn't have handles, but like
Yeah, that's gonna be deadly. Okay,
uh
at number 4.
I got Bam at number 4.
Mm.
I still have him just over Wemby. He's still definitely top 5 defender in the league. Even he's not as tall as your standard center, he's at 6'9". But if he plays the 4 this year for Miami, I think that'll be very exciting for you guys defensively. Is that the ability to be a switch defender? His scoring still does leave a bit to be desired, but we've seen his mid range get better over the years, and we've seen him shooting threes in the Olympics. So if that becomes a regular part of his game, that's also going to be big for Miami. But he's a guy that he should be able to get 24 points a game, but he's always hovering between that like 18 to 20 mark. So we're going to see him take a step up offensively this year.
For sure. My number 4, I put Alperen Sengun at my number 4.
Wow, I love it. I love it.
And the thing is, I didn't even know he was this good, but like he plays so similar to Jokic for real.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good post-up player. He's a good shooter. He's a really good playmaker for a center. And he's still young. So he honestly, it's gonna get better. And like if he's this good of a playmaker at this young of an age, it's just gonna keep getting better and better. And then he's gonna be up there with Jokic eventually.
Man, I love the Sengun respect. I really wanted to put him on the list. Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's high, but I like it. Like, I think as a Heat fan, putting Sengun over Bam is hilarious.
But I think Sengun's like offense, it's just like just better because Bam's defense, we know his defense is crazy insane.
Mm-hmm.
But just how great offensively Sengun is, even though he can be better defensively, it's just so similar to Jokic. Yeah. And seeing what Jokic did to Bam in 2023, yeah, I gotta put Sengun up there.
It's a good point. Number 3, he had him power forwards, but I had Anthony Davis at number 3. So I'm interested to see who your number 3 is because I think it tops you.
I put Porzingis.
Oh shit! Damn. Okay.
He was great. He was great in the playoffs, but then he got injured, came back, played great in the finals. In the regular season, he played great. You could argue that Boston really had like 4 All-Stars on that team. Him, Tatum, Brown, and Derek White. You could even slide Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
You could say their whole starting 5 was full of All-Stars. But Porzingis, we know what he's capable of. He can stretch the floor. He may not be that good of a rebounder, even though I don't like that. I hate how guys are 7 feet tall and can't even get like 10 rebounds a game.
It is concerning.
He is a really good defender. He can impact the defensive end as well. So that's why I do have him at number 3. But number 1 and number 2, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
It should be unanimous. Embiid at 2, Jokic at 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Would have been a problem if that wasn't the order.
Oh no, I'm not putting Embiid over Jokic. Definitely not.
If Javon was here, I think we would see Embiid in the honorable mentions. To be honest, that man has he's got like a problem with Joel Embiid. But
I mean, I think what Embiid is, I know he was injured, but I don't even want to give him that excuse this season because he put up 50. He put up 50 on a bad knee. So you can't give me that, oh, he was injured excuse. If he's putting up 50, I think it was game 3 or game 4 he put up 50. So you're on a bad knee and you're still able to drop 50. So I think you were able to at least be somewhat consistent. But the thing is, like, he was just so inefficient, like in the final games that, like, that Philly couldn't advance, and that's his issue. Like he just never really had that playoff series where he just showed that he was the best player on the team. And with Jokic, we've seen it time and time again that he's just going crazy in the playoffs, averaging 30 points. He can get 12 boards, 10 assists on crazy efficiency. Even though he wasn't playing that good against Minnesota, we know what he's capable of. And we've seen it time and time and time and time again. And MVP this season, even though if Embiid didn't get injured, he probably would have won MVP. But Jokic, the regular season MVP, and still played good in the playoffs. So definitely, I'm putting Jokic. And in my opinion, Jokic is the best player in the league currently.
Yeah, completely agree with everything you just said. Embiid was averaging 36 before he got injured, so I think he was waltzing his way to that MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, very unfortunate injury. The Sixers team, honestly, last year was pretty bad. Like, outside of, obviously, Maxey and Embiid, like, Tobias Harris was disgustingly bad as a third option.
Yeah.
They couldn't get more than 10 points out of their third option when Joel wasn't having a good game. You know, having Paul George there now, that really elevates them in the playoffs. Obviously, Paul George has mixed reviews in the playoffs.
Yeah. Sometimes
But
he's good, sometimes he's bad.
yeah, but just having that guy he will be obviously much better than Tobias Harris as a third option is huge in the playoffs. Having three guys that can do that. So, you know, if Embiid is having a bad game, you just get the ball to Paul George, give it to Tyrese Maxey. You know,
For sure.
and last year was Tyrese Maxey's first playoff run as a focal point of the offense.
And he
So
played
it's adjusting
amazing.
too.
He played amazing. And honestly, after seeing what he did, I could say that give him another season. It could become Maxey's team.
Yeah, for sure. And then Jokic at one. He's best player in the league. Just won MVP. He's got three of them now.
Yep.
We both have him in our top five centers of all time. So
Sure.
nothing more needs to be said about that. He's going to go down probably a top 10 player of all time.
When it's all said and done, if he can get, I say if he can get like 2 more rings.
If he get 2 more rings, hell yeah.
If he can get 2 more rings, he could be up there in top 10 off time.
Definitely. I say he had top 3 center of all time. He gets 2 more rings.
Oh yeah, if he gets 2 more rings, he could be a top 3 of all time.
Yeah, wow. And it's crazy. He's not even 30 yet. I don't think.
He's not 30.
He's just 30.
Hold on, let me check.
He's got time.
I know he's not 30 yet.
Yeah.
Hold up. He's 29. He turns 30 in February.
Okay. So yeah. Going into age 30 season, like his team's still really good. I don't know if they're gonna win a ring. They lost KCP. Maybe Russell Westbrook goes back in time 5 years.
Maybe.
And he's just 6 man of the year. I'd actually love to see that. I can't lie. But yeah, if he does win a couple more rings, yeah, he's a probably top 7 player all time when he retires. He's so dominant offensively. His defense is actually a lot better than he gets credit for. Like he doesn't get the numbers so much, but he does have like a block and a steal.
That we look at mainly because like defense is just so hard to calculate.
Right.
Because you have steals and blocks, but like you got guys that may not get that much, but they contest shots, or they force passes, or they may tip a pass, or
I think his defensive IQ is what makes him not a bad defender in my eyes.
His IQ in general is just
he's like very disruptive down low. Like there's a lot of those swipe steals. I think he was top 15 in the league in steals per game last season. He had, I think, 108 steals. And that's all of that just swiping in the paint.
Yeah.
He's become good at not fouling or making sure the ref doesn't see the foul. So yeah, easily number one in the league, center wise, and just players in general.
Yep.
All right, so that's the list. If we forgot about anyone, I will probably remember 5 minutes after the show and to be very mad at myself.
Yeah.
It's like I was just praying that didn't happen. I almost went through.
Getting out of her and
Yeah. I was almost just gonna go on 2K and just scroll through the rosters, but I did not do that. So
yeah, I think
that's gonna do it for episode 7. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Again, make sure you follow Stadium Rant, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Getting the best content on sports worldwide. Follow me at Jack_McKinnon. You got anything to say, bro?
Nope, that's all I got.
So I got. We'll be back next Friday, 7:30. We're gonna have Nolan back in the building, I believe, and we're waiting and seeing on Draven as well. So we might have a full team, but if we will be back next Friday at 7:30. Peace. Oh shit. So